All right, so in the last video, we were looking at the prompts, so we have the use the right key, right arrow key working correctly, but we wanted to get these prompts. You picked this, the correct answer is that. We wanted to get those prompts up here on the screen. And we're having some trouble, and what we figured out was that the problem was that we only redraw when we say the screen when we say show questions. If we copy that and I try to find show question down here, when does that get called? Well, that gets called when we say next question, when we go to the next page, and that's the only time it looks like. So it only gets called when we go to the next page. So what we need, maybe the most straightforward thing to try actually is right after we do action performed, since we want the reply to show up, what if we just said typed in show questions at this point? With that, see if that would redraw the screen nicely, or if there's more work we need to do. So I'm going to save that, see if that compiles. Okay. So we compile it, and we run it, and we pick this. Oh, something happened. Okay. So not quite what we were hoping for. The font is a little bit off, and it's kind of low down on the screen, but we're making progress. So let's take a look here now. So it looks like we're headed in the right direction, but now I'm not so happy with this, with the name of this method, show question. I think it's more like something we want to do every time we need to paint the background again. So I'm going to, instead of calling it show question, I'm going to call it repaint. So I'm going to copy it here, and I want to replace show question everywhere in the file with replace, or repaint, I'm sorry, repaint. And I'll click all, and that replaces them all. So now it's called repaint. So now instead of being show question, the method is repaint. I like that better. Now the problem is, what's the problem? Well, the problem is the font is way too big, right? So let's try set font small. Let's try putting that up here and see if that's small enough. I'll try the small font, see how that looks. So this was public in Greenfoot World, and there actually is a repaint method in greenfoot.world. So what we want to do in cases like that, there's a couple of things. So one thing is, it says right here, cannot override repaint in Greenfoot World attempting to assign weaker access privileges was public. If something was public in the world class, I can't make it private in the game manager class. I'm giving it the same name. So that's one thing we want to do, but also we want to make sure that we call the repaint method of the superclass here. Okay. And actually this might, well, let's see what happens with this, and then, yeah, see, that might even be getting us into trouble just because I renamed it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to call it repaint. I changed my mind because that seems to be giving us a problem here. So I'm going to call it redraw background, or or redraw. Let's call it redraw. How about that? Instead of repaint. So repaint. Oops. I'm going to make be redraw. Ooh. But this does want to be repaint. Now I really got myself in trouble. Let's see, where do I have repaint? Here, okay, this one I want to be redraw. I'm going to have to look at these one at a time because this one I want redraw. This one I want redraw. This one I want, oh. Redraw. This one I want to leave repaint, because repaint actually, it is the thing that paints the buttons down there. So let's see. And then that was it. Okay, so let's try compiling that and see if that's... Oh, maybe repaint wasn't the problem. Okay, we're fixed now. So whatever was broken got fixed. It could be, you know, that just, like I said, maybe I caused something to go wrong with Greenfoot by doing that, calling that thing repaint. Maybe not, but I'm going to leave it as redraw for now because that seems to be working. So I changed the name to redraw just because it seems more like what it's doing than saying show questions, because it's doing more now than just showing questions. So now if I say run, pick the wrong answer. Okay, so it says the correct answer is C, Quito. That looks kind of good. So my X looks good, but my Y is kind of funky, right? Let's see, game manager. So how am I choosing my Y? Let's see. Okay, I'm starting with get height here. I'm adding 20 to the height of the buttons. So it looks like my X is working because the string is drawing. Looks pretty nicely centered under the buttons there. Oh, but I'm using get height instead of reply Y. Maybe that's my problem. So I'm going to paste that on there. Compile, run, pick the wrong answer. Oh, now it's too high. I can see it behind the buttons. So we're on the right track here. Let's see. Let's make it plus 60. Hey, I like that.